G'day guys, PBX here. My wife tells me I play way too many video games, so one day I decided to make a YouTube channel, and here I am today. Now the class I'm using today is the p90 Silence with the kick proficiency, sleight of hand, hardline pro, sit rep, the kill streaks of the Predator missile, attack helicopter and Pavlo, and I managed to get through those kill streaks a couple of times during this match, so I think it's a pretty good gameplay. Let me know what you think in the comments below. So what I wanted to talk about today is how to do well playing solo on Domination. Playing solo can be one of the most frustrating experiences Call of Duty has to offer. Other players generally don't shoot down enemy kill streaks, often refuse to jump on flags, and also like to camp close to where they spawn, which generally turns into a spawn lock if the other team know what they're doing. A good strategy playing solo is to have in your mind a really good starting route to cut off the other team running for the B flag. What this does is encourages your random teammates to move out of their spawn and get onto the B flag as quickly as possible. When you start the match, have in your mind a particular position on the map that the enemy team often sit behind to shoot at your team as they're capping the B flag. Then, create in your head a pathway to kill that particular player as quickly as possible. Don't just blindly rush to that position, but instead work your way to the cutoff, trying to pick off guys as you're going. I find that using a silenced SMG is generally the most effective way to do this, as the extra run speed that you gain allows you to get to where you want to go as quickly as possible. The silencer also plays a huge part in this type of strategy, because as you're picking guys off on your starting route, you don't really want to give away your position. This allows you to flank the enemy team effectively, shooting the majority of them in the back. Building kill streaks quickly at the start of the match really sets you up well for the rest of the match, so it's important to try and avoid early deaths as much as possible. Now we all know that the best way to play Domination is to hold 2 out of the 3 flags. However, when playing solo, unless your team is really switched on and knows exactly what they're doing, it's likely that they're going to push too far into the enemy spawn and often will cause a spawn flip. You have to expect your team to flip the spawns. So instead of getting frustrated and just trying to hold the 2 flags, just go with the flow, move with your team to ensure when the spawn flip does happen, you aren't going to get shot in the back yourself. Don't be afraid to cap all 3 flags if you suspect the spawns have flipped, because in Modern Warfare 3, capping flags does count towards your point streaks, allowing you to get your air support up earlier in the match. Once either you or the rest of your team have successfully capped the B flag, then you need to make the decision as to whether or not you want to set up protecting the B flag, or move to a high traffic area opposite B and cut off any attempts at an enemy flank. This decision generally depends on what type of gun you're using, where you are in your kill streak count or your point streak count in Modern Warfare 3, what type of playstyle you think the enemy team has, and also what type of playstyle your team has. For example, if you're a couple of kills away from having a helicopter or a Reaper and you're using an assault rifle, often it's best, instead of trying to rush into the enemy spawn, to move to an area of the map with good cover that will protect your teammates, who are usually all facing the same direction. That way, any enemy engagements that you're likely to come across, you will have the advantage of cover, and their attention will often be facing towards the rest of your team. If you're running an SMG with a silencer, like I am in this situation, and your team is constantly pushing up, then sometimes it is best to go for the triple cap early in the game, forcing the enemy's spawn to flip to your original flag. This strategy works really well in Modern Warfare 3 because, as I said earlier, flag captures do count towards your point streaks, allowing you to get air support up as soon as possible. Now, having a spy plane up often does help with your decision, but most of the time you're just basing your decision on where your team is positioned on the map. That's more than sufficient information for you to be able to make your next move. Making good decisions early in the match will ensure that your streak does remain intact, and when there is friendly air support up, you'll find a lot of the problems of playing solo are eliminated, because your team will find it easier to cap flags throughout the entire game. If your team has a big enough lead early in the game, this allows you to play pretty much however you want for the rest of the game. Most people will choose to get as aggressive as possible with their playstyle, because I mean, who doesn't love rushing around the map, destroying the enemy team, getting big sprays and getting high scores consistently. Some people do prefer to switch to a longer range weapon and hold down an area of the map, and this is often possible if you've managed to pick up the enemy's weapon during your starting route. Having a long range and a short range gun does help you be prepared for most gunfights as well. So, you know, as you're coming across, if you've got a long range engagement, you'll be able to pick them off a lot quicker. But you can also, you know, still move quite quickly because you've still got your SMG primary. What I like to do is, once I know that the game is won, I do try and get as deep into the enemy spawn as possible, and also rack up kills as quickly as possible. Because at this point in the match, it really doesn't matter if you do die a couple of times, as long as you're having fun. Getting deep into the enemy spawn can also result in getting lots of experience points in each game, especially if you're capping flags on the way. Again, using a silencer really does help in this type of situation, as most players will follow the little red dots on the radar blindly. So again, not giving away position every time you fire your weapon is super important. So, as you can see, we have been quite successful at the start of this match. We have been able to cap the B flag. I've now moved into the enemy spawn, now racking up kills quite quickly. I've certainly put some kill streaks up in the air already, and you know, moving forward for the rest of the match, I can pretty much play pretty much however I want. And you know, moving forward, you know, we've got a lead at this stage of what's that, about 50 odd points. So we already know that the game is won unless the other team triple caps for the rest of the game. So it's really freed up the play style that I've actually come up with during the match. Well, I mean, that's about it for today. This does really wrap up the commentary. I do hope you have enjoyed it and learnt something. Please remember to rate the video with a like or a dislike if you prefer, as giving the video a rating will definitely help the channel grow. Final score today I think is going to be a 47-4. Did pick up 6 assists during the match, and also managed to cut quite a few flags along the way. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.
Securing C. Securing Alpha.